Hey Scorpio, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading where we are discussing acceptance as it applies to the Two of Pentacles, your monthly energy. So this is going to be talking about taking your energy back from fighting or resisting, because you're going to need all of that in order to keep everything in balance and keep all the plates in the air, and being able to, by not resisting or denying reality, you're better able to actually deal with what's on your plate. So I'm using the Maori Oracle and the Tarot of the Magical Forest. I've stacked 1, 2, 3. They're timestamped below, so you can skip to the one or more than one that you feel is meant for you. This is a general for the collective, so if you would like something private just for you, I offer those through my Etsy page, and that's linked below. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because I come out with these every week if you'd like to keep up with that. And I'm also very grateful and thank you for sharing this time with me right now. Okay, stack 1, you have the reverse 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords, Kawa Kawa. This is speaking, the Kawa Kawa is speaking on a time to clear your path and let go of things that may be keeping you from moving forward, or in this case making it difficult to keep everything going and manage everything that's on your plate. And so this reverse 8 of Swords does support this, and talking about removing blockages that may be in your way, particularly in your thought process with these swords. Two of Swords is showing that you are unable to make a choice at this time. And what I'm getting is that you may not be meant to, actually. The answer may be, like, you may be agonizing over which one, this way or that way. And the answer is either both or neither, actually. And so the acceptance and the transition feels like releasing yourself from the burden of having to choose. So you're either delegating the choice to someone else. It feels very much like decision-making fatigue, which is a real thing. And it's something that I personally have to cope with by creating certain systems to make certain decisions. Or just telling your partner, I don't care. Like, I honestly don't care where we eat. Please take, I have enough to think about. Please take this decision away from me. So delegating or just moving on entirely if you can. Like, another personal story is like dealing with my ex with regards to our son and his schoolwork. There are times where I might, this is my perception, this isn't to accuse anyone of anything, it's just, it's important to tell the story for the sake of a analogy here. But there are times when I feel not supported in keeping him on task with his schoolwork, and so I might have been not doing everything I could in hopes that he would step up. And when he doesn't do that to my standard, it can be disempowering. It can feel like too much. It can feel like a burden when I feel the victim of that, where I'm going to fail my kid because this thing that's out of my control didn't happen. And so I can be relieved of that burden and accept that this is how the situation is. And instead of crying about it, it means that I do have to do more. I have to step up. I have to pay more attention. And that acceptance that this is my task, this is what's in front of me, this is what's been put on my plate, that fired me up. That gave me energy. It's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm stepping up and I'm taking control. And that gives me my power back over the situation. And I want to just, a final note on that, it reminds me of that moment in Dark Crystal where Jen's about to set out on his journey, not really wanting to do it alone, but then he goes, all right, alone. And that's kind of just that energy. Anyway, stack 2, you have the Knight of Wands, the Page of Swords, Namu Namu. That's like a sand fly, a sand flea or something. It was traditionally believed to have been introduced to the world because it was too beautiful and too gorgeous and too perfect. They were afraid the gods might take it back. So So there I am getting a message here about perfectionism, and that may be being perfectionism as resistance to imperfection being what's holding you back. And so it's making things more difficult to balance than they have to be. It's like the pentacles that he's juggling here is like this concept of perfectly imperfect. The tension held between them being this concept of perfection being a lack of flaws, a flawlessness, or more like in the Tao sense of the concept of what is, as is by definition perfect. Anyways, so the Page of Swords may not get that, like on an intellectual level, but at the same time is intelligent enough to see the value in the riddle, in that Zen koan. And so that idea stops here with the page, and then the action is taken up here in the Knight of Wands with your strength of will. All right, stack 3. 10 of Cups reversed. The Hangman reverse. And papaka. There's it's a crab. In this tradition, it's talking about the ability to start over or start elsewhere when you have outgrown a situation, or seen that a path isn't viable. It's a willingness to step back and to recalibrate and admit that it's time to do something different. And with the reverse 10 of Cups, that's kind of, it's like what you're seeing down the road isn't going to turn out into what you'd hoped, or what you were hoping and wanting is changing from what you had originally envisioned. And so it's like when I dropped out of business administration school, not because it was too hard or anything like that, but I was just like, it occurred to me where I was going, the job that waited me at the other side of this degree wasn't one that I wanted, and that wasn't how I lived my life. So I was okay, remove myself from the situation and put myself in a different one that leads me to where I do want to go. And a willingness to do that and not hang on and cling to it just because you've invested so much so far and that you've committed to something. Commitment is one of those double-edged swords where it has its positive connotations, and it can actually keep you stuck in a situation where you don't belong. Anyway, the reversed Hangman says that you have seen all you need to see, you've gathered all the information, and sat on the sidelines long enough, and it's time to make a choice or to take an action. And that the longer that you sit on it, the harder it's going to be to make. Harder, the longer you do it, the harder it's going to be. So this acceptance is what keeps you upright and balanced, rather than burdened by the knowledge that you're going to have to do it eventually. Okay, so I will talk to you in a week. Thank you.